is, you know how in the United States the majority of people have one race, and then there are other minority cultures, like the Native American culture, for example. In China, there are a lot of different ethnic cultures that are not actually Chinese. They're actually have their own distinct culture. And in Yunnan, there are 25 of those. So I chose several different nationalities and chose 7 folk songs from these different ethnic minorities. So this rice pounding song is actually inspired by a rice pounding song from the Jingpo nationality. So I'll play for you the recording. The song is talking about 2 women that are getting up very, very early in the morning, and it's this province is all in the south, so there's a lot of rice paddies. So they're getting up in the very early morning, and they are pounding rice. So they have these huge mortar and pestles, huge rods that they use to pound the rice. And so the song is about this rice pounding. They're singing this while they are husking the rice. And you will hear 2 women singing, and you will hear a pounding in the background, and it's actually the pounding of the rice. Two singers, and then Alan and the entire ensemble. So it's 11 or 12 players in addition to the 2 singers. And so Alan is playing a variation on the melody. So the melody is going to be sung by 2 singers. And then, the rice pounding thing was the tricky part. So what I got the instrumentalists of the ensemble to do is they're actually going to be stomping their feet while this is being performed. Like so when you hear it, you'll actually hear the melody with the pounding of the feet. So. The Sheng is such a part of the Yunnan landscape. When we talked about the Sheng, this is actually the modern version of the Sheng. So this is an instrument that only existed in the 1950s because it has keys. Older versions of the Sheng, you have the Hulu Sheng and the Lu Sheng, did not have the keys. So they were basically just just holes that you would depress. And actually, it's really neat because sounds like. So this instrument is called a Sheng, and it's a Chinese mouth organ. And you can see all these tubes here, and each tube is 1 key. And the tube is made out of metal.
Yes, and the pipe is bamboo.
And the pipe is bamboo. Yeah. And do you want to say a little bit about the instrument before we start?
And also each pipe have one reed, and then mainly is use the reed to have the sound. So one reed, one tone, and also you can play at the same time like this.
You could actually bend the pitches.
Just like Rocobo.
Yeah, right. You could bend the pitches. There are less pipes. There are maybe 16 pipes, right?
Yes.
Some of them even less, like 5 or 6 pipes.
The traditional only 6.
Only 6, yeah. And what happens in a lot of the southeastern Asian, like Thai or Laotian or Yunnan cultures is the lushang, which is the precursor of this instrument, was really a part of the folk music. And one really important aspect is that the sheng player also danced. So if you look at YouTube videos of lushang, if you look up lushang, which is this instrument, and you look up on YouTube, you will see the lushang player performing and also doing acrobats. So he would be have his head on the ground and doing like backflips and all sorts of really, really neat things. And they would have competitions of lushang players being able to play at the same time as doing all these different acrobatic tricks. So that was a huge part of, that is a huge part of the folk culture. So I think that's the reason why we ultimately chose the sheng over some other instrument. There was a train happened to be on the train tracks, and was honking his horn. I said, "Oh, that's a sheng," and he said, "Yeah, there's actually a piece that is based on trains, right?"
Like this.